Hey everyone, Andy Rafael from eTeknix.com, and I have got probably the most exciting product I've seen in a long time. Let's do this. What's this? The Symphony 240mm ARGB all-in-one liquid cooler from Antec. Let's check it out. What the? What? The Antec Symphony, with a premium looking mirrored ARGB pump head, high density tubing and ARGB PWM fans, the styling and performance will be music to your ears. Find out more by clicking the link in the description below. Right, now I want to get started with one thing. This video is probably going to be very long because this product, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Now, you may have seen a little bit of information. There's not too much out there about this product, but it's pretty mental. It's pretty immense. Some would even argue it's pretty godlike. Oh yes, the Z690 godlike. And this is it. I mean, I don't even know if you can get a sense of scale, so I will give you a sense of scale. Let's grab a typical motherboard box. Z690 carbon Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure MSI actually did this on a stream as well. There is a normal sized ATX motherboard box, and there is a Z690 godlike box. I mean, it's not even funny. What I want to do today is go through a little bit of an unboxing, a little bit of a preview. There's not huge amounts of stuff that I know about this, so instead I've actually got a little bit of information on my phone to go through. I actually use the X570 godlike in my own personal rig at home, and I love it. I love the little LCD screen that's on there. It just takes kind of troubleshooting, debugging and things like that just one step further. This is going to go even one step further beyond that. Let's talk about the box. I mean, to start with, it's huge. It has won some awards, so the CES Innovation Award 2022. Intel Core supports 12th gen Intel processors, Z690 as the name suggests. It does say, because this is a kit, it's not just the motherboard, hence the box is a little bit bigger, but it's still a huge motherboard from what I've seen. But it does come with the Core Liquid S360 liquid cooling kit and Kingston Fury Beast DDR5. So let's get this opened up and have a look at what's inside. So this is basically what we see. I mean, it's like an experience. I will be honest, you're not going to go out and be able to buy this. This is some sort of editor notes, so we can put that to one side. But you're not going to be able to go out and buy this. From what I can tell, from what I've seen, anyone who wants this board, and I believe they're only actually making 400 of them, might be 500. I think there's like 60 coming to the UK. There's like 300 going to United States of America, and then the rest is kind of scattered around mainly Western Europe. From what I can tell, to buy one of these, you need to be an existing godlike customer. So everything that I've heard on the grapevine, this isn't confirmed, so I might be completely wrong, but everything that I've heard on the grapevine is that you must be an existing godlike customer. So if you do want to buy one of these, you have to put in your serial number from your existing godlike product, and then that allows you to kind of, go onto the list to actually buy one of these. But let's talk about what it apparently has. 10G Super LAN, Wi-Fi 6E, Thunderbolt 4, Direct 20 plus 2 phases. I think there are 105 amps each. 105 amp SPS MOSFETs, SP diff audio jack, PCIe steel armor, sextuple M.2 slots. Comes with a Meg Core Liquid S360, which we've actually done a couple of videos on now. So I think that's actually the one that we did the pre-roll on, if I'm not mistaken. If you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. It's quite funny. Full armor design, M Vision dashboard, which is probably the most exciting part, which I will sort of talk about in a little bit more detail as I get to it. Premium cooling, latest DDR5 memory, dual front USB 20G, server grade PCB, PCIe 5 signal, Mystic Light, smart button, and the Kingston Beast memory. Right, so let's try and be organised here and actually try and have a look at exactly what it comes with, because I did mention this video is probably going to be quite long. I want to get to the motherboard, but there's a lot of other stuff to go through first. Inside we get a little, I don't know whether it's a case badge sticker or whether they kind of expect you to wear it around your neck. So memory kit wise, I want to see if it is the same. KF55 2C4. It's exactly the same kit. So we have 32 gig of 5200 megahertz Kingston Fury. The other kit actually came with an MSI kit as well. You get a nice little cloth, which I'm sure is going to be for the screen. Because it is touchscreen, you're going to want to obviously make it look really nice and sort of, clean that off and everything. brackets and screws. Everything's nicely labelled up. I really like this. It's quite funny, they actually give you brackets for like AM4 and everything. So this is obviously taken out of one of the S360s and just kind of bundled in. So if you wanted to change it at a later date, something like that, or use the AIO on a different product, they're not kind of alienating you with, well, you know, you've got Z690, socket 1700, here's the bracket, off you go. You've actually got the other ones in here as well. So quite a big box just for some brackets, but I kind of like the way that everything is segment parted, something like that. Radiator fans. So in here are going to be the 3 Silent Gale, I think it's P12? Silent Gale P12? So you get 3 of them fans. They're actually really, really quiet. They work really, really well with the S360. So another thing we get is what looks like a bracket. Now I'm guessing this, just based off the shape of that, it looks like about the size of a 24 pin. If you are going to detach the screen from this, maybe that actually clips on there just to kind of neaten up the side and everything. I'm guessing that's what it's for. And then we get another bracket, which is probably for another part. It looks like there's space for a debug LED there. So we will obviously figure this out when we get to it. God, that has got some weight to it, but let's put it to one side just for a second and go through what else we've got. So quick installation guide, nothing out of the ordinary there. We've got case badge stickers, battery stickers, the usual kind of stuff. We get, what we got here? Thank you for choosing MSI. I always like the feel of this. It's like a weird kind of velvety texture. Don't know why I'm standing there stroking a card, but it's nice. We also get, and I saw this on the live stream that MSI did, and this is quite cool. So very similar to what other brands like EVGA have done, but they've basically made a DIY kind of test bench that's made up of kind of stands and stuff. So I'll show you exactly what that's about. This is basically what you get inside. So essentially what you can do is screw that into there like so, and then basically you've got like a little stand. So there's 6 of them. So essentially on the motherboard you'd have like maybe 1, 2, 3, and then another 3 at the top, just to hold the motherboard up. So if you're doing like test bench type stuff, this is actually going to come in really handy. We have seen similar from EVGA. They do like the PCB thing, which I think is really cool, but this is just another kind of inventive way of doing it. Right, what else have we got? Wi-Fi antennas. So obviously this has got Wi-Fi 6E, so we have got the antennas for that. I mean, it's just box after box after. I've got to put this all back together after. Okay, yep, so we get the cables. Typical Godlike kind of fashion. I can see the SATA cables that are braided with the whole kind of black and red. So we get 2, 4, 6 SATA cables, 3 of them being right angled. We get a DisplayPort adapter cable. This is going to be for Thunderbolt then. We have RGB extension cable, your typical kind of normal RGB. We've got an addressable RGB extension cable. We've got a breakout cable, what looks to be for the front panel headers. This is something that we saw with Gigabyte with their Aorus Extreme. Really, really handy. It's just plug everything onto there and then it's just one connection, done. Why are more brands not doing this? We get another mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort cable. We get the USB drive. Obviously brands used to bundle in a DVD or a CD or something like that with their boards. Not anymore. Instead we get a USB, but typically just go onto the website, get the latest drivers anyway. We get a thermal probe. We get another thermal probe. We get one of them really cool, I always laughed about it, but they're actually really handy. Little keyboard cleaner brushes, kind of extends out and you just kind of clean your keyboard. We have a cable. It's got like a weird magnetic dock on it, kind of like you get with an Apple Mac product. I'm guessing this is if you want to detach the screen from the motherboard, which we will talk about, and have it sort of kind of outside of your case, because not everyone's going to want to, because it is touchscreen, not everyone's going to want to open their case up, maybe unscrew it, take the side panel off to fiddle about with it. There is more. There is more. I mean, this is just the gift that keeps on giving. We get standoffs for the M.2s, of which there are sextuple. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, 6. These are cool. I've seen these before. They actually give you like a little set of screwdrivers. So you get a Phillips head. It looks like potentially a Phillips 2 or a Posi 2, and a flathead. This is obviously for taking off certain heat sinks and whatnot on the actual motherboard. We also get some M3 and 632 screws, which are going to be potentially for the detachable screen. Who knows? Then we get the AIO itself, which is labelled water block head. So we've got the radiator there and the AIO over here, which has got the fancy pantsy screen on there. You can basically load whatever you want on it, whether it be images, GIFs, data of, you know, what temperature your CPU and everything is running at. Like I say, we have done some video content on this and it's pretty damn special. Yeah, I've run out of room now, and now we need to look at the motherboard. So let's get this stuff out of the way and then get onto the motherboard. So, box aside, let's get onto the motherboard. I mean, it's not even funny how much this weighs. And I've had heavy motherboards before. I've had the likes of Aorus Extremes from Gigabyte. I've had, you know, Extreme boards as part of the ROG lineup from Asus. I've had godlike boards. This just kind of takes the mick just a little bit. It is hench, it is hefty, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do like a good quality product. And this, yeah, this is it. So this is the Z690 Godlike, and I think the first thing we need to do is obviously do some peeling because we can't appreciate it just yet. So I don't know, maybe we'll zoom in close and do some kind of weird montage with this, but here we go. Now that one was a peel and a half. So there's lots of protective stuff on it, and for a very good reason. This board is mirrored as much as physically possible. So if everyone would like to say hello to Declan behind the camera, you can probably see him. Wait for the camera, Declan. There we go. This is the board in all its glory. I did mention it was huge. It's not as big as what I was expecting. I was expecting it to maybe be a little bit taller. I think because it is so wide, it just kind of seems not as tall, but it is a hench board, and most of it comes down to the fact of it being wide, but also the fact that it kind of protrudes out the motherboard quite a bit. Now, looking at the back, things are really, really simple, and I kind of like it. You could probably just make out as the light hits it, we have got a dragon kind of emblem down here. Other than that, it pretty much covers up the whole board apart from the area that you need to get to, which is going to be the CPU socket to put the all-important bracket on there for doing whatever kind of cooling you are doing. Now, board-wise, obviously, it is LGA 1700. So underneath the little arm, we have got socket support for Alder Lake. So obviously, we're going to put a 12900K in here. That kind of goes without saying. Memory-wise, we have got 4 slots. In terms of NVMe, I should have probably stuck with them little screwdrivers, but there are 6 on here in total. We'll probably just overlay some B-roll, but there are 6 NVMe slots on here. We have got a lot of kind of mirrored stuff going on. So there is a mirror over here, a little split down the middle, and then another bit, and then what looks to be like a mirror, but obviously when it's turned on, it's going to come up with this kind of screen and everything, which has got buttons on it, like physical buttons. From what I can tell, I think they're resistive single touch. So I will go through some specs because I've got it out in front of me. 3.5-inch IPS LCD display, full color display, touch control, magnetic connection. I mean, we're going to try that out straight away. So yeah, it is magnetic. Is that a fan or a speaker in there? I think it's actually got a speaker built into it just underneath. But this has got like a magnetic dot connection, which looks to be the same as what was on that cable. So at least I was on the right kind of wavelength with that. But yeah, it's simply just kind of slots into place. I mean, I'll try and show you guys on camera. Let's talk about the rest of the specs. We've got 2 8-pins, which conveniently are actually over this side. So they are more towards kind of where the 24-pin is. I've never understood when they've put kind of EPS connectors up here. Instead, up here we have got some system fan connectors, CPU fan connector. Over here, we've got the proprietary cable, which was the Corsair Rainbow cable. So we've got that. We've got a pump fan header, debug LED. Not that you're going to need it if obviously you're using the detachable screen. We have got plenty of fan connectors just down here as well. So we've got J Rainbow connector addressable. We've got fan 2, fan 3, and fan 4. We have got our ATX 24 pin here. 2 USB Type-Cs, which if I remember rightly from the box is 20G. We have got 2 USB 3 connectors, or 3.1 Gen 2. We've got 6 SATA ports, and obviously you get all the cables for that as well. Now, there are some more fan headers down here, and there is a little switch, which, if I remember rightly, if you are going to be taking this off and not actually using it on the board and using it as detachable, you do have to just flick that little switch down there. Other than that, we have Front panel connectors, more addressable. JBAT1, we've got thermal sensors for the probes that come included, water flow connector, more front panel headers, USB, legacy, system fan header, BIOS switch, because there are two BIOSes, LED switch, which I'm guessing is to turn on and off various LEDs that are on there, and we will look at kind of how this looks when it's lit up. JRGB connector, and then your front panel audio. There is actually a really handy power and reset button down here as well. It's a little bit weird that it's not near the debug LED, but you know, it's probably in the best location you could put power and reset buttons. Down the bottom, out of the way, especially if you've got it on a test bench, you've got a great big graphics card here. You might have an LN2 pot on there. You might have something over the memory like an LN2 pot as well. So having it over here just makes perfect sense. Heatsink wise, I mean, it's beefy. You wouldn't expect anything different. There is a large heatsink up here, and it also stems around over here, which is all covered under this mirror thing, which currently is completely covered with fingerprints as the light hits it. And that's why they give you a cloth. Now, in terms of the rear I/O, this is where things get quite exciting. We have got our normal HD audio and SP diff on here. Wi-Fi 6E connectors. We've got the two mini DisplayPort ins and the two Thunderbolt 40G, so Thunderbolt 4, lightning fast, blistering fast speeds. We've got 10G Ethernet. We've also got 2.5G Ethernet, and we've got more than enough USBs than anyone's ever going to need. So we have got Super Speed 10, we've got 2, 4, we've got 6, 7, 8 USB super speeds, and one of them is labelled as MVision, which comes down to, again, this and that little switch down in the corner to enable the functionality to this USB port. Then we've got our flash BIOS button and our clear CMOS button. Whew, that's a lot of stuff to go through. Let's see how it looks when it's lit up. Okay, so just had a little bit of trouble just trying to stand the board up. It weighs a ton, so I've had to put a box behind it just to kind of do this, because I want to show you, and hopefully you guys will be able to hear this as well, the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life to come from a motherboard. Let's turn it on. Yes, you're right. It sounds like a dragon. I mean, how freaking cool is that? The annoying thing is I can't see anything that it's doing now, but again, we're going to overlay some B-roll of kind of what this is all about, because it is touchscreen, so it does have functionality. I just wanted to kind of get it booted up to a certain degree just from the 24 pin, just to kind of show you what's going on. And I mean, if I turn it off and back on again, you're going to see exactly what it's all about. Like I mentioned though, we will get some shots of this so you can kind of get a better idea as to kind of what's going on with it, because it's just taking things even further. And I love the fact that they haven't restricted anything. They haven't gone, you know, this is on there. You're going to have to open up your case to control it, to use things and stuff like that. And the beauty is you can go through the MSI software to basically customize this how you want. So you can do that through the use of JPEGs, GIFs. It even supports MP4 files. And I'm guessing a lot of that, I'm actually going to put this closer to the mic, just so you guys can kind of appreciate that. But you got to admit, it's cool, it's unique. Is it for everyone? No. Is it hell? But it is cool, and I like that. And the fact that, like I mentioned, I've had the X570 Godlike in my system for quite some time now, and it's been absolutely flawless. I love the fact that it's got the little screen on there. And the problem I've had is I've been wanting to change around my rig for a little while. There's just not been anything quite worthy enough. Z590 Godlike, you could argue, yeah, it was nice, it had some nice features, it looked aesthetically pleasing, but was it an upgrade from an X570 X570 Godlike? Probably not. So I was even looking at potentially using something like this, which was gonna, you know, be used in my own personal rig, the X570S Carbon EKX. But again, I'm then sticking with X570. It's no kind of natural progression. Z690 seemed to be the way forward. I was just waiting for this to arrive. And now it is here. And now the question I've got is, how do I continue with the build to kind of give it the special treatment that the board's allowing me to do anyway? If the board has all these amazing features, looks aesthetically amazing, the rest of the rig has got to be exactly the same, right? So that's why I'm thinking we're going to have to water cool this. We're going to have to go custom loop. We're going to have to go crazy. And I'm looking over there and I have a case that is crazy. The InWin 928 Super Tower with this, with a 12900K, potentially now, because we have 2 lots of this with 64 gig of DDR5 5200 megahertz, then we've just got to decide on the graphics card. 3090 Supreme X, we whack a water block on it, job done. That's kind of where I'm thinking. And that's where I kind of want to put it to you guys. What should we do with this? Where should we go with it? How can we make the rest of the system equally as good as what this bad boy has to offer? Yeah, let me know in the comment section below. We will do some testing with this though. We will get a water block on here. I have got the EK Velocity 2. It's around somewhere. If you're signed up to Patreon, you'd know exactly how messy our office is. If you're not signed up to Patreon, then sign up to Patreon. And yeah, you'll know exactly how messy our office is. So it is around. It's the Velocity 2 block. Have got to do some content on it anyway. So why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone and put it on here and see what it looks like, what could be done, and so forth. Yeah, don't know. What do we think, guys? By the way, it's over $2,000 for this, so it's not for the faint-hearted. I think with the kit, there was rumored pricing of like $2,400. I'm guessing they haven't put anything in the reviewer's guide in regards to this. Doesn't look like it. Which means it's one of them age-old things of if you need to know the price, you probably can't afford it. But yeah, I'm gonna have fun with it, that's all I know. Until next time, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know exactly what to do, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye-bye. Sorry for the long video.